Big Future is a free online planning guide that helps you take the right first step after high school. Plus, Big Future can help you win money for college when you plan for college and careers. Sophomores, juniors, and seniors are eligible to win Big Future scholarships, regardless of GPA, test scores, citizenship status, or financial situation. Thousands of students just like you have already won, and you could be next. To earn a chance for yourself, just log into Big Future and complete one of these 6 important steps. With each completed step, you'll earn a chance at a $500 or $40,000 scholarship every month. The more steps you take, the more chances you have to win. To learn more and get started, log into Big Future today.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Big Future Scholarship Week. My name is Palin Liu, and I was one of the recipients that won $40,000 from scholarship from Big Future. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm thrilled to be kicking off our second Big Future Scholarships Week event, Your College, Your Way. Thank you so much for joining us today. After a long day at school or work, you could be anywhere, but we're glad you decided to spend the time with us. Big Future Scholarship Week is a special week of live, free events celebrating the launch of Big Future Scholarships. During these events, you get your questions answered about choosing your desired career and the education you need to achieve it, and on top of that, learn how sophomores, juniors, and seniors can qualify for monthly $500 and $40,000 from scholarships from Big Future. A little bit more about me is I'm currently a freshman at New York University studying childhood education and special education and minoring in childhood and adolescents mental health studies. At NYU, I'm a brother at Alpha Phi Omega, which is a service fraternity that deals greatly in service to the community. I was born in Guangzhou, China, and immigrated to the United States when I was 5, making me a first-generation student. I had no idea how to start my college application process, finding the right colleges, filling out financial aid. However, applying to Big Future Scholarship helped me through the process. Now, being a college student, I've joined NYU's Focus program directed to first-generation freshmen, who has now paired me with a mentor to help me through the college journey. During March of 2022, I got the call from Vince about the pleasure of being a guest at Good Morning America. I immediately accepted, of course, but had no idea the intent. It wasn't until I was on air that I got notice that I won $40,000 from Big Future's Opportunity Scholarship. I won $40,000 simply by just taking steps to plan for my life after high school. And you can too. Winning this scholarship has relieved the burden of my family's financial problems when paying for college. 3 factors when choosing your desired college is money, location, and major. Money seems to be one of the main factors why even the smartest people are afraid to apply to top institutions because of the high tuition. Big Future has made my college life so much easier by not worrying about the cost to get the education we all deserve. College isn't one type fits all. So how do you know what college is right for you? Today, we're joined by experts from New York University, the University of Texas at Austin, and of course, the current college students to answer your questions about finding your college your way. So get your questions ready and welcome to Big Future Scholarships Week.
Thank you so much, Palin. It's so great to hear more about your story and what brought you here. And thank you to all the students, parents, and educators joining us today. Welcome to Big Future Scholarships Week, Your College, Your Way. My name is Greg Rafal. I use he, him pronouns, and I work on the Big Future team. I'm going to be your moderator for this evening. And Big Future is a team of former educators, parents, college and career planning experts, and other folks who are really just committed to helping students take the right first step after high school. As Palin said, our goal here during Big Future Scholarships Week is to answer your questions. So today you're not going to sit through a long PowerPoint slide. You're not going to sit through long presentations. Really, we're just focused on answering your questions from students, parents, and other caring adults. Tonight is a very special edition because not only are you going to hear from students and from our college experts, but you're also going to learn how sophomores, juniors, and seniors can qualify for $500 and $40,000 Big Future scholarships. And hey, you can even earn an entry while you're on the presentation today. So we're going to show you how. So we have a lot of folks with us today, which is awesome. So we'd love to know who is joining. So with that, we're going to launch our first poll. So if you're a student, tell us what grade are you in? And if you're a parent or a caring adult, what grade is your child in? And go ahead and answer that quick poll that's appearing on your screen. We'll give you a few seconds to do that. I see some of your responses coming in here. It looks like about 60% of you are in 11th grade. Oh, some more responses coming in. Yeah, about 60% of you are in 11th grade, about another 30% in 10th grade. Okay, it's shifting a little bit here and there, but pretty much we have a lot of 11th graders, 11th grade, a lot of 10th graders, and some 12th and 9th graders there too. Well, the good news is no matter what grade you are in, Big Future Scholarships Week is for everyone. So welcome and thanks again for being here. This 45-minute session is really going to fly by. We have a lot of questions to get to. We also have a few videos to get to. And of course, we want to tell you how you can qualify for $40,000 and $500 scholarships. So with that, let's dive right in and meet our panelists for today. All right, we have an all-star cast here today. So I'm going to ask all of you to just introduce yourselves to our audience here. Tell us your name, tell us where you go to school or where you work, and let's get to know you a little bit. Tell us a fun fact too. So I am going to start with Juliana.
Hey everyone, my name is Juliana Balanzar. I am currently a sophomore at Point Loma Nazarene University. I am majoring in nursing with a possibility of minoring in psych and criminology. A fun fact about me is that I was on TV 2 years ago, and I found out about the scholarship through TV too. So it was a very nice experience. I'm very blessed to have such a amazing opportunity to be offered to me, and despite it being unbelievably just too good to be true, I won the scholarship, and I'm extremely happy that I was one of the recipients. It's been amazing, and till this day, I am very, very appreciative.
Juliana, we're glad that you're one of our scholarship recipients, and we're so glad that you're with us today. Looking forward to the conversation. We'll pass it over to you, Raymond. Raymond, I think you might be on mute there. Well, Raymond, while you are figuring out the audio, you might need to unplug there. We'll kick it over to Christy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christy Matarasso. I am the Director of Recruitment and University Relations at New York University. So excited to see Palin as well, one of our students. And a fun fact about me is that I got to sing the national anthem at my high school graduation. And not as fun as being on TV, but it was still pretty exciting.
That is exciting. Well, thanks so much, Christy. Happy to have another NYU face, another NYU representation here. And Raymond, can we hear you? Not quite yet, no. You might need to unplug your headphones and do the regular audio, but or you can dial in, Raymond. But while you're doing that, Palin, I know we heard a little bit from you already, but I know you have more for us. So I'll pass it to you.
Yeah. So as you may already know, I'm a freshman at NYU studying childhood education and special education and minoring in child and adolescent mental health studies. And one fun fact about me is that I make YouTube videos. So I am a YouTuber for Roblox. I make Roblox content, and I do all the editing. I do all the recording. And my YouTube channel is Gaming with Eris.
That is awesome. So cool. We have Palin, who is an awesome YouTuber. We have Juliana, who's been on TV. I know Raymond has some experience with television as well. So I feel like I'm the last person who should be hosting this event. We have so much expertise here. But thanks so much. We'll get to Raymond in a moment. But before we jump in, let's go over just some housekeeping for today. During today's event, you all will be in listen-only mode for the entire event. So this means that you can see us, but unfortunately, we can't see you. But that does not mean that we don't want to hear from you. This is all about your questions. So there is an Ask a Question box at the bottom of your screen where you can type in your questions. Now, Big Future Scholarship Week, we are focused on your questions today, so don't be shy. We already see a lot of questions coming in, but keep at it. Give us more questions. That's why we're here. We have a lot of folks on the call today, which is amazing. We're going to do our best to get to as many questions as possible, but just thanks everyone for being with us today. And then finally, we will send you a feedback survey at the end of the event. We want you to tell us how everything went. Because we keep on improving these events. So the more you tell us, the more we can do to make the next event even better. So please fill out that feedback survey when you get it. And then finally, if you miss anything today, you have to walk away from your computer for a moment, or your phone loses battery or something, don't worry. The recording will be available online later at bigfuture.org/live. Now, Big Future Scholarships Week is all about your questions. We'll get there in just a second. But before we get to those questions, I have one last question for all of you. Tell us what topics you're most interested in hearing about today. And with that, there's going to be another poll that's going to come on your screen. And go ahead and tell us what topics you're most interested in hearing about today. Do you want to learn more about Big Future Scholarships? Do you want to learn more about tools to help you find the right college? Let's see. A lot of you are really interested in learning about Big Future Scholarships, which is great. You also want to know the most important part of a college application. And luckily, we have some really great experts here as well. So no matter how you responded, just know that we're going to get to all of these topics. So you are in the right place. And Raymond, I would be remiss if I didn't pass the mic to you. We want to hear from you. Tell us more about yourself.
Well, I hope you can hear me now. Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you hear me? Oh, fantastic. I'm not sure what happened, but maybe it's because I'm all the way down here in Austin, Texas. But let me just say this. I'm Raymond Blakely, Director of Recruitment here at the University of Texas at Austin. And I'm so excited, Greg, that this is being recorded. Yes. But anyway, fun fact about me is that, believe it or not, I started off my career as a TV producer and a camera guy. So the audio piece maybe wasn't something that I did. Another quick fun fact is I'm in the same fraternity as Martin Luther King. So I'm in Martin Luther King's fraternity. That's pretty cool.
That's really cool. That is awesome.
Yeah. Had to make up for the audio stuff. So
so you gave us 2 fun facts. That's great. Well, Raymond, Christy, Palin, Juliana, thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait for this conversation. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We have our first question and this is for Juliana. And Josephine wants to know, how do we know what college to choose? So Juliana, where do you go to college and how did you select it?
Yes, so for me, I go to college at San Diego. So I go to Point Loma Nazarene University, and I think that I just sat down and thought about what really mattered to me, and what really mattered to me was a school that provided my major, because not all schools provide the major that I wanted to choose. And something else that really mattered to me was the proximity to my house, because I have a really close relationship with my family, and I knew that I was either very likely going to commute or just wanted to have a nice close drive to home. So those were two really big factors. But aside from that, things that ended up working out was that my school has a small class size. So it's a very small university, which I really, really liked because I tended to get overwhelmed with a lot of people. So that's something to consider when choosing a college, as well as sometimes, well, in my case, I was worried about money because of it being a private school, and I knew that it was going to be a lot of money. And for me, nursing is a little bit more than another major. So I was really worried about how I was going to do that, how I was going to get through. And thanks to the scholarship, that is the least of my worries now. But for the most part, I think that it depends on, maybe the connection with your family, maybe if it's religious or not, how close is it to home, the population size, if it includes your major, and maybe other factors as like school spirit. But to me, the main factors were how close was it to home and if it had nursing.
That's great, Juliana. I think you brought a couple of things to light there. Like one, like different criteria that students might not have heard of before about how to actually narrow down that search. But then also just really thinking about what's important to you as you think about what those next steps after high school are going to look like and what community you want to be a part of. So thanks for giving us some insight there. Our next question, we have a question from Maria, and Maria wants to know, what is the difference between a private university and a public university? Christy, can you take this one?
Sure. So in general, the most significant difference really has to do with how public and private universities are funded. So public universities generally have their tuition and fees subsidized by the government, local, state, federal governments as well. Whereas private universities really tend for their revenue to rely on student tuition, endowment, alumni giving as well. That's really the most significant difference. Sometimes I think folks can have the idea that, if a school is a private institution, it must be very expensive. It must have a very high tuition. And, that can sometimes be true. But something to consider with some public universities is that there might be a difference with the tuition, whether you're a student from that same state versus out of state. And sometimes a student coming out of state to a public institution might have a tuition very similar to what it could be at a private school. So it's definitely good to look at all of your different options and always apply for financial aid because you never know what options will be available to you. Of course, scholarship opportunities like Big Futures, to really make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance of being able to afford whatever institution really is best for you. Really, at both types of institutions, you'll find a wide variety of majors, different programs, research opportunities, really anything you'll look for. There are, big and small public universities and big and small private universities as well. So I think you can find a lot of similar factors across both as well.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for that, Christy. Raymond, do you have anything to add? Again, differences between public and private?
Absolutely, and Christy covered most of it. I guess the only other piece that I would mention is that schools that are public to the students that are in that particular state. Because for many folks, when you are going out of state or going to a public university from another state, it's almost as if you're going to a private school based upon the funding and support that's available to you as well. So, yeah, she covered all of it for sure. And there's public supported, and then there's the level of support differs, but you're getting a quality education across the board.
That's great. That's great. And Raymond, while we're talking to you, we have another question from Sydney. Sydney wants to know, Sydney says, I'm from a very small town and my graduating class will be less than 50 people. The major that I want to go into is only offered at big universities. How do you overcome the fear so that you can do what you want? Or how do you transition to college life with that big change?
Absolutely. We get this question quite a bit. And what I always tell students is that even though universities are big, and there are definitely schools that are bigger than the University of Texas, they're made up of smaller communities. And so there's always an opportunity to find a smaller community. And sometimes that community could be your major. That community could be where you live on campus. It could also be an organization that you're a part of, or a different group that you're a part of as well. So, and one thing I say quite a bit is that you can always make a large university small, but it's very difficult sometimes to make a small university big. And so there are definitely benefits on both.
That's such a great point, Raymond. I mean, one thing that Palin brought up is that you're part of your service fraternity, and that's a community within your school, right, Palin? And Palin, we now have a question from you from Rayma. Rayma wants to know, how did you choose what college you wanted to go to? And then I'll add to that, just Palin, how did you choose or select NYU?
Yeah. So I applied NYU early decision one. So really early on, I knew that I really wanted to attend NYU. And luckily I did get the offer. So the reason why I chose NYU is because NYU is really known for its teaching school. It's called Steinhardt, and a lot of my elementary school teachers, as well as my middle school teachers, went to NYU for their teaching degrees. So that really made a big factor into why I decided to apply for NYU. And I guess also another thing is that I'm a New Yorker. So I've basically been in New York for my whole life. And I've been pretty accustomed to the trains, the busing system as well. So I just felt like New York was my home. And that's what New York University's main logo is. This is New York is your home. So yeah.
That's great, Palin. And glad that you found your home in New York. I am not from New York, I'm from DC, but I love visiting New York City whenever I have the chance. And thanks for telling us a little bit more about how you found your home at NYU. And speaking of exploring colleges, you can also use Big Future to research schools and actually build your college lists. So on Big Future, we have something called College Search, which is the free tool to help you search and filter from over 3,500 schools. You'll find college profiles with important information about admissions coming directly from experts like are on the screen now here in the admissions offices, campus life, and more. And we even have videos of current students talking about what it's like to go to school there. And the great thing is that as you're using College Search and as you're building your college list, you can also earn chances and qualify for $40,000 scholarships and $500 scholarships on Big Future. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so 10th and 11th graders, you can log in now to bigfuture.org, and you're going to take a look at your dashboard. This is my test dashboard here. And one way that you can qualify for, again, $40,000 Big Future scholarships and $500 Big Future scholarships is building your college list. So if you go under Plan for College, the Plan for College section here, you can click on Find Colleges. Click on this card right here, it makes it super easy. And you can either answer a few questions and get a recommended list of colleges, or you can run your own search. I'm going to go ahead and run my own search just so you can see what this looks like. And within College Search, again, you have these 4 filters to start: location, major, type, campus life, some things that Juliana mentioned to us as factors she used to find her school. Let's go look at location here. I mentioned I'm in DC, so I'm going to choose District of Columbia. And here are all the schools that come up. Now, you can go into each of these profiles and again, see great information about each of these schools. And from here, you can actually add these schools to your list. So I could go here, click add to list. And now you can see I have 6 schools on my college list. And that's how you qualify for Big Future scholarships. When you add 6 or more schools to your college list, you're automatically entered into drawings for $500 and $40,000 scholarships. And if I go back to my dashboard here, you're going to see that I have an entry earned. So it's as easy as that. So folks, right now you can look more into NYU, look more into UT Austin, add them to your college list. And if you add 6 or more to your college list, you can go ahead and earn an entry into Big Future scholarships. If you're a 12th grader, you can log into Big Future right now, take a look at your dashboard just like I demonstrated, and you can see what steps you can take right now to qualify for $40,000 as well. And every month, Big Future is awarding 2 or more $40,000 scholarships and hundreds of $500 scholarships. So the sooner you complete these steps, like starting your list, like starting your college list, the more chances you have to win. So log on now, build your college list, and you can earn an entry as you're watching tonight's event. And soon we could even surprise you at your school as our next $40,000 Big Future scholarship winner. Take a look.
Because you practiced for the SAT on Big Future, you were entered into the scholarship, and we drew your name this month, and you have won a $40,000
Ariana went into Big Future, and she added 6 schools to her college list. Well, guess what, Ariana? You won. You are the winner of a $40,000 Big Future scholarship coming on board. $40,000!
You won a $40,000 scholarship.
This is the right card. If you can't see it, every single one of you are getting $40,000.
$40,000.
I wish I would have known about these programs earlier because I could have been applying last year.
This really just opens up so many more opportunities for me.
I say use it. Give it a chance. You never know what's going to happen. You deserve $40,000 from Big
Great. And you can learn more at bigfuture.org/scholarships. Log in and get started. And we have a question from Darius. Darius wants to know, how is the scholarship winner picked? Well, we have monthly drawings. So every month we have at least 2 $40,000 scholarship winners and hundreds of $500 scholarship winners. And the best thing about these scholarships is that all you need to do is complete the steps on the dashboard. There's no GPA requirement, there's no testing requirements, no citizenship requirement. We're really rewarding you for taking the steps to own your own future. And Taylor wants to know, how do you know when you have won the $40,000 scholarship? Is it a random drawing? It is random. It is random. The more steps you complete, though, the more chances you have to win. And how do you know if you won? Well, what we're doing every month is actually working with school principals, counselors, school districts, family and friends, and we're surprising students in their communities with these $40,000 scholarships. So the reel that you just saw with all those winners, those are real students just like you who thought they were going to an assembly at their school about Big Future, and then later found out that whole assembly was just for them to surprise them with a giant $40,000 scholarship winner check. So take steps on Big Future, and you could be our next $40,000 scholarship winner. And we even saw Paylin in that video too, win a scholarship on Good Morning America. Paylin, what was that moment like for you?
So I guess you guys told my school before I even knew anything. So my school had to keep this a whole secret. So like the principal knew, like guidance counselors knew, even my art teacher knew. So it was pretty shocking when I found out that I was brought to Good Morning America to be presented for this scholarship. So it was definitely like a really big shock.
That's awesome, Paylin. And we have some more questions about finding your college your way. And this next question is for Christy. Christy, Henry wants to go to film school. How does Henry prepare for his application and applying and looking for film schools?
Sure. So you'll definitely want to consider kind of what kind of a film school are you looking for. There are some schools that offer a conservatory style program, which pretty much means your entire curriculum is in an artistic area. At NYU, our film program through Artists School of the Arts is what we call conservatory style, and a lot of other institutions have that as well, which essentially means that most of your curriculum will be in your artistic area, but probably about a quarter of your curriculum or so will also be in just the general liberal arts, taking some, math, science, history, English, things like that. And then there are some schools where it really is mostly a liberal arts curriculum, maybe some artistic classes, and an audition or portfolio isn't required. Usually at conservatory and conservatory style schools, you will have to do an artistic submission, whether it's an audition or portfolio, depending on the program. So I would definitely start there and kind of figure out, how much film do I want? Do I really want my whole education to be about film? Do I want it to be only part, some liberal arts, mostly liberal arts, and kind of go from there. But really, as long as you're applying to a program that isn't just kind of fully on the total end of just looking at artistic information, you're still going to want to be doing well in school, taking good courses, challenging yourself, doing well, because you will be looked at academically. And then, of course, at schools that require that audition or portfolio, you'll want to make sure that you're following those instructions at those institutions, and making sure that you have a good artistic submission to present as well. So I know it can be a lot, but you can definitely use Big Future to start kind of looking at different schools that fit those criteria that you're looking at once you narrow down really kind of what type of artistic program you want.
That's great advice, Christy. And we have another question. This one's for Raymond, and it's from Anjulua. And Anjulua says, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to go to college out of state, but I feel like I should start my freshman year of college in state due to the cost and the charge and the change of moving and then transferring to another school later. What advice do you have?
That's a great question. And what I'll tell you is that it's real simple to give yourself all the options that are available to you. And so go ahead and apply to an out-of-state school and apply to an in-state school and see, because you never know what kind of scholarships, what kind of opportunities you may be able to get that will make it more of a good transition for you. But I always say this, never be the one to tell yourself no. So that means take the opportunities that are out there. Now, there are some things to consider as well. When you transfer to a school, sometimes a lot of the opportunities don't exist for transfer students as they exist for freshman students. And so that's something to consider. It's not the case for all schools. I think whereas most higher education is trying to make that a little bit better for transfer students, but by all means, give yourself every opportunity and see what's available to you.
That's great advice, Raymond. And put it out there and see what the options are going to be. And we have some other questions. We'll get to as many of the questions we have We'll get to as many as we can. We know there are a lot coming in, but we'll try to help as many students out there as we can. So we have a question from both Benita and Sandy asked this question. Can you win more than one Big Future scholarship? And the answer is yes, you can win more than one $500 Big Future scholarship, but you can only, sorry, let me start over. You can win more than one $500 scholarship, or you can win a $500 scholarship and a $40,000 scholarship, but you cannot win two $40,000 scholarships. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. And again, the earlier you complete steps on your dashboard, the more chances you have to win. Another question about Big Future scholarships from Uday. Uday says, how are we judged for this scholarship? Or like, how do you win, right? Well, it's really easy. All you need to do is go to your dashboard on Big Future, log in, and complete steps on the dashboard. The more steps you complete, the more entries you're going to earn for our monthly drawings. And again, we'll have more than two, at least two $40,000 scholarship winners each month and hundreds of $500 scholarships each month. I hope that answered your question, Uday. And we have some more questions coming in here from our audience. We have another one from Christy, for Christy, and this is from Hannah. Hannah wants to know, would you recommend a 2+2 program or a full 4 years at a university? And if you could explain what a 2+2 program is as well.
Sure. So some institutions have different articulation agreements with different schools where you can do 2 years, perhaps at like a community college or somewhere else, and then have kind of automatic transfer into some other institutions. It's a good thing to look into. As Raymond said, it's something that you might want to consider in terms of just different opportunities because you wouldn't be in that 4-year community for all 4 years. The opportunities might be different. You'll also want to think about financial aid. Sometimes colleges can be more generous with financial assistance for students coming in as first-year students rather than those who are transferring in. So that's something to consider. If you're thinking about potentially saving money by starting at a community college for the first 2 years, you might find that it actually evens out a bit with the financial aid that's available to you. So it's definitely good to ask at all of the different 4-year institutions that you might be considering just a bit about their financial aid policies, just about maybe certain areas, programs of study, majors that might only be available to first-year students. So I think as long as you just do your due diligence in kind of gathering all of that information, you can really decide which path is right for you. There are plenty of students that spend all 4 years at one school, and then plenty of students that do programs where they start out elsewhere and then finish their last 2 years through another institution's articulation agreement, and both are great, just depending on whichever works best for your individual circumstances.
Thanks so much, Christy. And I'm sure it's helpful to know just what the 2+2 program is for students who are considering their options. So thanks for laying that all out for us. We have another question from Emmanuel, and this question is for Raymond. Emmanuel wants to know, how do I pick my future college if I still don't know what I want to do for a career?
Very good question. And Emmanuel, you're not alone. In fact, Emmanuel, there's some students that are in college right now that don't know what they want to do for their career. So first of all, you're in solidarity with the many students. The thing about it is, look at it this way. You are open and you're still deciding. And so some schools provide opportunities for you to join them while you're still making that choice. So you don't always have to have that choice made. But I will also encourage you to take advantage of some major exploration opportunities. Here at UT Austin, we have something that we use that's a major finder, and it basically you put in some things that you like to do. You enter in some of the activities that you like and things classes that you like to take, and it comes back and tells you some potential majors. But you can do that exploration, and it's okay to do that, and you do not have to have it figured out. Listen, let me tell you one quick thing as well. Many people will tell you that they are going to major in the one thing, and then they get to college and they find out that there are other options available to them, and they change their major. I did not major in admission counseling or admissions or education, but I am doing this work and I love it.
That's great. That's great, Raymond. And thanks for mentioning that resource as well. I'll add to that for Emmanuel and Aya. You had this question as well. Another resource you can use is the career quiz on Big Future. We have a career quiz that takes less than 10 minutes for you to complete. And once you complete it, you'll get a list of 30 potential careers with additional information about median yearly income, tasks and skills associated with those careers as well, to help you kind of think about what your next step might look like. We have one more question from Jalen. And Jalen wants to know, does your earned entries go into the drawing every month for Big Future scholarships? And yes, the answer is yes. If you build your college list today and say you don't win this month, that drawing will roll over to the next month. So you'll be re-entered into the drawing until February of your senior year. So the earlier you act, the earlier you take steps, the more chances you have to be entered and winning $540,000 scholarships. We are at the point of our conversation where we have our last question for the panel, and this is going to be kind of rapid fire. What's the one thing students should know about finding the college that's right for them? And Juliana, I'm going to start with you. What's the one thing you want students and caring adults to know?
I think one of the most important things is to focus on themselves and not necessarily on their peers and their surroundings. Just focus on themselves and think about where they would be the happiest and thrive the most academically.
That's great advice. Think about what you want, what you're passionate about, what because it's your next step, right? Palin, what about you?
For me, again, the three major things, location, the price, and as well if the school has your major. So if all of these things match up, then you can put down the school on your college list.
Great advice, Palin. And Raymond?
Visit campus, and visit campus during the academic year. Yes, summer is a great opportunity to visit because you're out of school, possibly, but there are no students walking around. Visit campus when it's at its most highest level of activity.
That's how you find out what it's really like, right? And last but not least, Christy.
Yeah, I always say try not to get caught up in the idea of a dream school. With so many colleges and universities in the country, there's probably plenty of dreamy schools out there that you would do well at, and just trust that as long as you kind of I love Juliana's advice, especially about kind of being true to yourself. And I think as long as you follow that, you'll end up at a place that's right for you.
That's fantastic advice to end on. And thank you to all of you for just sharing your wisdom and your advice. And thank you to everyone at home for joining us today. Before we go, remember that Big Future is here to help you take your next step after high school, and you can earn $40,000 and $500 Big Future scholarships along the way. But don't take my word for it. Hear what some of our students have to say.
Everyone starts somewhere, and Big Future is the free online tool that helps students like you start planning for your future your way, with a dashboard that helps you find the step that's right for you after high school. Big Future helps you plan for college.
The very first thing I did was build my college list.
So you can do that either by location, the tuition costs, or even by your test scores to see which one you would more likely get into.
It helped me filter out and find what colleges match me.
pay for college.
I already know where I'm going, but I'm using this tool to help me find scholarships and figure out what you'll really need to be paying to your schools based on your family income, grades, and the school you want to attend,
as well as learn more about how to earn grants, scholarships, and loans.
And explore careers.
It takes your interests and shows you all different careers.
They have people who are in those fields. They have the cost of getting that degree, what you would make coming out of school.
For the medical field, for law, for the arts programs.
Being able to see all the options that I had and kind of narrow those all down.
Big Future has made a difference for millions of students, and it can help you take your next step.
Big Future.
Big Future.
Big Future.
It's really an incredible tool.
Visit Big Future to learn more today.
Thanks again to everyone for joining our second event during Big Future Scholarships Week. We'd love to hear how today's session went. So after this event closes, you'll be redirected to a feedback survey. Please complete it. It really helps us to make our future events even better. And if you missed anything from today's session, again, the recording will be available later on demand at bigfuture.org/live. And then finally, join us on Thursday for our final event of Big Future Scholarships Week, Securing the Bag, where we'll hear from reps from the Coca-Cola Scholarships Foundation, John Kent Cook Foundation, and Scholarship America. They'll be here to answer your questions about scholarships and funding your future. You can register today at bigfuture.org/live. Thanks so much for joining and have a great night.